Run on.
So, we did the minutes the last time, it's been so long. You did them, I think.
You must have.
She was looking for minutes, and I assume it's because we don't copy her, Barb? on this?
I was, and then I wasn't
Well,
She only wants to be copied once they're approved.
approved.
okay, so could you go back? Everything's been approved.
Everything's been
except-
sent to her that I have.
I think we need to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Correct? Yes?
When was the last meeting?
I don't know.
I'd have to double check whether or not I sent those out if you weren't here.
Could you check, and then we'll
I
approve them
haven't-
at the next meeting?
Yeah.
I don't feel
Okay.
like I've been here since April.
So could you put in the minutes, the next meeting, we have to approve both this meeting and the next meeting?
Yep.
Okay, I don't have my agenda, but I don't think it matters which order. 25,000 in departmental transfer request. This sounds great. But you're not happy with KVS and they don't upgrade fast enough, and now you're getting
Well,
a different company?
So KVS has, we've been with them for a long time, and they have a payroll system that is on their original platform, their original database platform, and then they several years ago upgraded, and we upgraded with them to an Oracle database for the tax and the financials, but the payroll section stayed on
The older system.
the older system, and it just kind of has quirks all the time, and it doesn't really keep up. We struggle with the ACA reporting annually, and we manually do a lot of stuff to
So-
sort of keep track of things, and it's
Time consuming.
time, and they've been bought twice, and I at one point thought they would catch up, but they have moved on to selling a different software that is,
Are you saying you're only doing the payroll section of KVS
Yeah.
and you're retaining them for the tax purposes?
for taxes and RGL and AP and budget and all those other pieces.
You are gonna keep them?
Yep. It's only the payroll section that's operating in this older platform that they've sort of
So you
lost
anticipate
attention in.
the new software, well, you have to have a license and that's what you're paying for, right?
It's actually a service.
Do we save money because KVS is no longer doing payroll in that license?
It's cheaper than buying new software. I wouldn't say that we save money over KVS. This is more expensive than KVS.
No, what I mean is KVS is part of it. Is the license reduced because you're not doing payroll?
A slight bit, but
Not enough to cover this.
no.
But actually, we had some reportings that are mandated now, and trying to do those the last year became, like, we even outsourced that, and it was a disaster. So there's required reportings that we need to do that our existing payroll software does not do. And as Melissa said, she has some major concerns, about having to be replacing it in the future anyway. And so this is the first step.
Do you have a product that you're going after?
It's a service, so it's a payroll service, and we did get some quotes.
So you're not
We've
getting, you're
started
not
the
buying
process.
software, you're buying service. I misunderstood that.
I
Okay.
did too.
All right.
It's a little bit.
It has a software behind it, but we actually are paying for a payroll service.
Somebody else is
It's-
doing the work, the
well-
data entry and all
Well,
that?
No,
it has
we
to
don't
be
have to
entered
do-
here,
yeah.
but it's almost like almost like outsourcing the payroll, but they have to get it from here. It's entered here.
Right.
So all the information, all the data is from here.
Yeah, and so we would still enter new employees, set up,
Have to.
Who's getting a stipend, all the raises for next year and all that stuff. We would all enter that every payroll just like we do now, but the printing of the checks, the
Oh, okay.
direct
Yep.
deposit filing, the
back
tax
office
filing.
stuff, kind of.
A lot of that would be taken care of, not all of it, some stuff you just have to.
It's, it really is just updating an archaic system in a lot of ways. I mean, the system does not keep up, and we're also gonna, be doing more of electronic timesheets and that type of thing. So it's really just getting up with the times, and they've interviewed some different companies and actually visited some different sites, like South Hadley has this service and has had it for, I don't know, at least 5 years, and is very happy with it, and, we've already started to do some parts of it on our own, and this would be, you know, for the, this would be the rest of the entire cost.
And what's it, does it have a name, or is it the treasurer's professional services?
Oh,
Or is that
that's,
just a
that's,
line item?
that's just
That's
my
the line item.
Do you
in the
have it,
budget.
so you haven't picked a service yet?
We sort of have, but we
Yes.
haven't started paying them
Right.
yet, so.
We're trying out
we'll-
sections of it.
What's
Yeah.
the name of the,
So
company?
we did 3 price quotes. Preliminary, Harper's was our favorite because of their municipal experience and our knowledge.
Harper's?
Yes.
Our knowledge of South Hadley's use of it, because we feel like we're a similar community to them. But
Size-wise and everything.
yeah, but you know, we haven't.
We haven't instituted
We
it
haven't
yet, but
jumped yet.
we've done some prior, like some preliminary parts of it, like we're trying to get the, you know, the timesheet section of it going.
Have you done that with other options? Like, are they doing this because they know you're gonna pick them, or are they doing this to get your business?
This is the whole process. This would be the whole process. What
What
we're
you're
doing is what we're
testing out.
doing.
Okay,
The testing.
okay,
Yeah.
so have you tested out the other
Well,
options?
We can't,
No.
you have to we've seen
No.
we've seen it in other places.
They interviewed them.
And then.
So we've picked the one that we want.
Right.
We've done the price quotes, we've done the research, we've done, obviously, the price quotes and the research, and what's the best fit for Easthampton, obviously based on size, based on municipality, based on what we needed to do, based on these reportings that need to happen.
Yep.
That we cannot do with the software we have.
Okay.
Right, so we can't actually test it until we
Right.
load all of our data,
Mhm.
run a parallel payroll. You know, it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
process and it's
Is this
cumbersome.
I'm sorry, a
Yeah.
contract that is 1-year contract, multi-year contract, or?
So that we can get out at any time.
So if you're not happy, that's what I was getting
Right.
at.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good, that's good.
Yep.
Is this gonna be a recurring charge, 25,000 a year?
Yes.
So that's an upgrade in, up in the budget.
It is, yeah.
Permanent,
So today, who does the printing of the checks and?
We do it,
We
we
do
do
it
it all
all.
now.
So are you gonna be saving an FTE at all?
It's minimal, but it's.
A what? Like, are you talking
a
full-time employee?
Yeah.
We are we're hoping that we will be saving, but that's not the intent. The intent is to
Make
get
the process,
is to
yeah.
have a program that provides the things that are required and that we need to do. But, you know, you never know, like we've done a lot of restructuring, a lot of reorganization for all different reasons. But this is needed in the department to actually do reportings that we're not able to do with our archaic system.
Yeah, and so, you know, the option to buy a software and keep payroll in-house,
Mhm.
honestly, is far more expensive. Not understanding why that is, but it is the case. If we, you know, once we're up and going, then we'll understand better how much, I mean, because at the end of the day, someone's still gotta enter in everybody's
Right.
time, push the button, say, yes, payroll's complete.
Mhm.
I mean, how much time does it really take to print the checks?
Right,
But there
But
is.
you're
some-
providing them all the information.
yeah.
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
But they do some back-end services, which should make life easier for us.
Mhm.
The efficiency of their software should make the life easier for us,
Mhm.
because ours is has a lot of manual
Yeah.
steps in it to
Yeah.
begin with, so.
I mean, we've had the system way before me. I've been here 23 years. So, and it's just things change, and we do think that this is a system that's going to, in the future, go obsolete.
Yeah.
So we need to make some changes
Right.
now.
Yep.
So this is step one.
Right.
Sounds good
And
to
if
me.
like, the nice thing about this is that, we didn't spend $200,000 to
Right.
buy a software and go,
Right.
oh, this isn't working.
And if after a year, you're like, nah.
Right.
and there's other companies out there that do payroll, so you
Yeah.
might be able to
It's a
find
pretty
some-
safe risk, I guess,
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
Yep. And they viewed it, like I said, and as a matter of fact, like when I would send timesheets over to South Hadley we have our shared veterans agent, their town administrator would call me up and say, really? Like, you might want to check out this system we have, which is how I knew he had it.
Yeah.
But he goes, this is great, and they actually, but before that, so, and again, HR, needs to put different things in for benefit purposes and all that, so all the information will come from here.
Yeah.
And be instituted,
they'll
but,
do the-
yeah, it's.
The
it
grunt
needs-
work.
we need to kind of get
And
up
then-
on things a bit.
And then
Yeah.
also, we think that it will provide, not immediately, but
Mhm.
in the future, better visibility for you or any other person who receives a payroll check from the city to go in, can I print last year's W-2, you know, you can log in.
So it'll be right online?
Yeah, and you'll have access to that. Oh, I'm going for a car loan. These are my last 3 paychecks, and you can
Mhm.
just print them out.
Yeah.
You know, and they
Now
might ask
it's-
you to certify them, but like, and now they come in, oh, I need a copy of last year. We
Mhm.
literally dig the piece of paper
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
and make a copy
Yeah.
because we.
Well, that's a big efficiency.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
we
all
have that at
online.
my job where you can just go in and look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Yeah, I
it
could
takes
find-
away a lot of.
I can find us
questions.
payroll stuff from 20 years ago online, so.
Right, I mean, we won't have that, we'll only have from when it started.
Right.
But,
And
Still
when we
perfect.
do price quotes, we generally always pick the lowest one, but this happened to be the product that we were, kind of.
Yeah.
and it
hoping to-
actually was the lowest.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's
And
good,
you-
but I would say that the
No, that's what
lowest
I mean,
bidder
you
isn't
know?
always the best product.
Right, and it's not a bid because it's,
Get what you pay for sometimes.
25, so you only need the 3 price quotes, but it meets the requirements and it was the lowest.
Okay.
Okay, well, do you have any questions, Tim?
No, those are all great questions, thank you.
All right, then I'll take a motion to approve the transfer.
Motion to approve the transfer of $25,000 from the reserve fund to $25,000 to Treasurer's Professional Services for the purchase of a new payroll and human resources software and service.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye. Passed, okay. So the chief just texted me back, he's not gonna wait to get called on any questions. And his,
Oh, just had-
Do you have one for him? Do
I give you his phone
you want some fruit?
number. So, I think his memo is quite detailed. And obviously, this is a position that's,
We don't have enough time.
by not having it, has hurt
Right.
the department. There's so many things that the deputy chief could do.
Clearly.
And one of the things I like is that there is, in my view, I guess I hate to say the word bureaucratic, but bureaucratic structure, command structure that to me is missing a person.
Right.
And when we have a fire, let's say the chief is on vacation, it's nice to know there's a deputy chief who obviously would have much more, might have more training than another person to come in and take over.
Right.
Um,
So I've had many discussions with the chief on this, many discussions, and I am 100% behind it and totally supportive. We needed to put back a firefighter on so that his tours would be even. His tours would be equal or even first.
Which we did last year.
Exactly. So that was obviously step 1 in all of our, critical services. This is step 2. So, it's, to me, as you can even just read from it, since 2004.
Mhm.
And you can see how the demands and the reporting, even emergency management, training, you can see all the, hazmat, all the different things that have added to this position that we don't have.
One of the things I like is that, and I see the fact that there's gonna be another person there, is grant applications and researching grants.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of time to have that kind of person available.
Yeah, and
This
training.
is $74,000 a year, it looks like. This is only a
And he's
half a
doing
year
the
request.
half. And again, the reason for that, because we've had many questions, why now, why now? And the reason for that is, number 1, he wanted to, this is a non-civil service,
Mhm.
so he wanted to, make sure he took the time to get the right duties involved in the job description and the process. And he's gotta set up a process. So we figured, with all of this happening, it would be January. So it's just, that was what we thought the time he would need to get all this happening. So that's why the transfer is going to you now, figuring, we can get going on this and,
So it actually starts January 1st
Right,
if the
he wants,
person's.
he'll wanna post it, he'll wanna do an interview process, and he's gonna go outside for that, like, not a service, but bring outside people in,
Yeah.
and,
So
for.
does he expect someone internally could apply for this job?
Well, they will.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's not going outside because he doesn't think there's
He's
somebody.
going outside for the interview committee.
Oh, I see.
You know, he'll take, you know, he'll get.
Somebody from another
chiefs
chief or
deputies.
somebody
Yes.
else. Oh, great.
So that, you know, it would be totally, you know, unbiased. But no, I'm a firm believer of hiring within.
Yeah.
If you have, you'll notice sometimes when communities do that, you know, with police chiefs or fire chiefs, that's because they have a lot of issues inside where they think they're gonna bring somebody in to straighten it all up. We have, you know, fantastic employees here, so I'm sure that they will apply. And, you know, and obviously anyone and everyone can apply, but
In
I'm
this
always
case,
very.
because what you're saying is there's good morale,
Yeah.
and therefore institutional knowledge is an advantage for this person to have if he's hired from within. One of the captains applies or something.
Absolutely.
So this is 74,000 plus benefits, if I'm reading this right, for a
Yep.
full year. We're gonna sustain this? We're all set?
Yeah.
You're feeling confident that the next budget can handle? This is like a
Well-
$90,000 increase, right?
Well, you have to, right, you have to look at the whole picture because obviously, you know, incentives, benefits, all of that. But that's, you know, it becomes a necessity and it becomes critical, you know, critical man, you know, you have your critical man.
You're able to get
memberships.
a lot of people back every year. So this would be, next budget, one of the people you would bring back, in a sense.
Yep, and back to what you were asking earlier, you know, reorganizing, restructuring, that's how we opened up available spots to bring people in, you know, so, it comes
Good.
down to the
My-
point where,
Yeah, my only
It's-
concern is that he, and I know he will, because clearly he's organized,
yeah,
that he make it very clear to the next mayor that this position needs to have continuity into the next budget cycle.
it will be in the budget.
It's in the budget,
It'll
in
be in
other
the budget,
words.
because this is where you're putting it. When you do this, when
For
and
this-
if you.
for the next 6 months.
When and if you approve this.
Yeah.
It'll go into his existing budget, and what he will do, as what anybody would do, when they start coming in to talk about their budgets in January and February, he will put that, it'll be in his request. Shoot. It'll be in his request.
Okay,
It's just, you know, it just wasn't in.
I just don't want it to get cut next year.
Well, if it
I mean, it
does,
could.
I was just gonna say, if it does, whoever, you know,
Redo the
decides to, you know, for me, you can, you know where my support is. And, but, you know, you can never speak for other people. You know, I make the decisions where the cuts go, and I make the decisions where the additions go. I just can't, for me, I can't imagine. I mean, I know of, even the candidates that we have running, I can't imagine any one of them not wanting.
Trying to get, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But of course, you can't speak for them, and it is the mayor's decision to how they cut budgets.
And I'm sure he will make the case when the time comes.
It'll be in his budget request,
See, to me, this is.
along with probably quite a bit else.
Yeah.
This is a major position, in my view. We've been able to bring teachers and individual employees, firefighters back.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of position that I think is so very important to have in place that I don't know if it's the last one hired is the first one to go kind of thing, but I hope not. If, God forbid, we needed to lay off, I would not want to lay off this position. I
wouldn't.
want to lay
Well,
off
and I'm-
this Bob.
You know, and I'm not
This
suggesting
isn't
that,
a-
I
this
just wanna
wouldn't be
make sure
civil
that
service.
Chief Motter makes sure that he makes the case going forward.
Do you know the chief?
I was just gonna, well, I said, and he's gonna do that.
Haven't you seen him at your
I've met
table
him
quite a few
once
times?
once or twice.
Who is the person that frequents here the most? Yeah.
But no, I
Oh,
just
and-
wanna
and
make
he-
sure.
His
You will
budget
actually get some
narrative,
insight.
when he does his
Yeah.
budget narrative is good reading. I mean, it's incredible.
You gotta like have it bound for a
Yeah, we're
book.
gonna have to get him into the paragraphing.
No, it's great, I'm
Indeed.
glad, and I just
It's
think,
great.
do you have any questions, Dan? No, there's no problem with this position. He'll be there at public hearing though, right, so.
He will be at the public hearing.
And
I
you
will
notify
not.
him that it's next week? Both
Yes,
of
I
you know
did.
that both of these are up for next
Yes.
week?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
we do. Thank you, though.
And you'll
for the
be here,
reminder.
Melissa, if there's questions on this? Because mayor can't be there.
Well, I might actually have a statement prepared because I am putting this forward and
Sure.
I'm very supportive of this. I don't know if you want to read it for me, if not.
Sure, just give it to me.
You know what I'm saying, because it is important to me.
Yeah.
I'll be happy
And,
to, I'll
you
be
know,
happy to read
And he
it.
can ask for all he wants, but if I don't put it forward, it isn't gonna happen, and if
Right.
you don't approve it, it isn't gonna happen. So I
Right.
want people to know that this isn't
Get it
just-
on the record.
This isn't just something we just talked about last week.
And the reason I
Yeah,
try to get
yeah,
public
we had
hearings
mini
done
discussion.
quickly is because I know it takes a while first of all, the department has to ask the
Exactly.
mayor and sell it to the mayor. The
Mhm.
mayor then has to put it forward. It's a month. It's 2 months before, the fastest we can do it is probably 2 months. And that, to me, is a long time. So I like to try and get public hearings done if we can.
Yeah, and we
Right
appreciate
away.
that, because
But then you have a whole
can start the
process for interviewing, so
Yep.
you'll have half of October
Mhm.
and November and December to do the interviewing and get this person in by January 1st. Is that the goal?
That's his goal. He feels that he would have ample time, but that's why we started it now.
Yeah.
Typically, something like this, I had originally.
Yes, sir.
I had originally.
I love you too, dear.
I had originally planned on waiting for free cash, but this is like a little bit of a jump, like you said, to get the process going
Yeah.
earlier. And when free cash comes in,
We'll
Just put the
backfill.
money back in
I
the
was just
stable.
gonna say, I usually, this one's coming out of reserve, but we usually always put things back into, be putting something into stabilization and capital stabilization, and I certainly could put it back in here, but I didn't wanna wait till then.
Mhm.
It might not be that, so.
It gives him more time, and I
Yeah,
think
it
such a
does.
position needs careful decision-making.
Yep, so I
Okay.
probably will have you, read a statement,
Sure. Just email it to me, or
okay?
maybe what would be great is if you made 9 copies for the counselors, and I'll read.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Because I was pleasantly surprised when you, put it for the public hearing, I was happy about it, so. 'cause
Well,
I
you
knew
should
I
know
would
that
be
that's
there.
my policy
got your
going
back.
forward.
It's
No,
got your-
I'm gonna do that for the next mayor too. I don't see, government
Okay.
trudges along. I like to see it get done if it can.
Yeah.
Because then you have to do all the bidding and everything else that you have to do
Yeah.
to get things bought. I mean, it takes a year to get a piece of equipment. Anyway, you wanna do a
I know.
motion?
How odd is that?
Make a motion to approve appropriation of $37,050 from stabilization to fire full-time supervisory to provide funds to cover the cost of filling the vacant deputy chief's position.
Second?
Any further discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye. Both approved. Public hearing next week. Anything else? If not, I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
All in
Thank you very
favor?
much.
Aye.
Get rid of this apple.
Ah.